Today, we are not talking about space or strange aliens or tiny white dwarf stars. Our story is about the most shocking discoveries made deep inside our own planet. This is the journey of the Kola Superdeep Borehole Project. They were digging a world record hole to find new types of rock, but something went terribly wrong. When their drill reached a certain depth, the scientists did not hit rock. They hit a strange, empty place. And when they lowered a microphone, they heard something absolutely terrifying: the sound of human screaming. Is hell actually under our feet? Join us on this incredible real-life journey as we explore the deepest hole ever drilled and uncover the strange truth behind it. In 1970, during the Cold War, the Soviet Union had a crazy idea. They decided to race the Americans not into space, but down into the Earth. Their mission? To drill the deepest hole ever made. A hole so deep it would nearly reach the mantle, the big layer under the crust. It took 24 years to drill. It shattered all of science's rules, and it gave birth to some of the strangest, wildest stories ever told. The scientists had one simple yet huge goal: to dig to 15 kilometers, about 9 miles. But why 15 kilometers? Scientists believed there was a clear, sharp line down there. They called it the Mo-Ho. They thought this line was the perfect dividing wall between the light rock of the crust and the heavy rock of the mantle. They wanted to get a rock sample from both sides of the wall. The biggest problem was not just the depth, but the pressure. Imagine the weight of all the continents sitting on top of your drill. They couldn't use normal oil drills. They had to invent completely new technology. Instead of turning the whole mile-long pipe from the top, which would break it, they sent a small turbine motor all the way down to the bottom. Only the very tip of the drill turned. This was like trying to thread a needle 9 miles away. The process was slow and terrible. Every time the drill bit got dull, which was often, they had to spend 20 hours pulling the entire pipe out, replacing the tip and putting it back in. Year after year, they kept going. By 1983, they passed the record: 12,000 meters, over 7 miles. No one had ever been this deep. But this is where the Earth started to fight back with two main weapons. The scientists thought the temperature down at 12 kilometers would be around 100 degrees Celsius, like boiling water. They were wrong. The deeper they went, the hotter it got, much faster than expected. The actual temperature was a staggering 180 degrees Celsius, 356 degrees Fahrenheit. Another weapon was the extreme heat. This extreme heat was the main killer. It made the tough steel drill pipes weak. The steel started to change shape and snap, like breaking a dried piece of spaghetti. The whole walls started to collapse because of the heat and pressure. It was like trying to drill through hot butter and concrete at the same time. The drill got stuck and broke many times. Once, they lost over 5,000 meters of pipe at the bottom. They had to seal the hole and start drilling a new path right beside the old one. The last, deepest point they ever reached was 12,262 meters. They simply couldn't get any deeper. Even though they didn't reach the mantle, the small rock samples they pulled up told them secrets that changed science forever. Geologists believed that at this depth, the rock would be bone dry. All the pressure would squeeze out any liquid. But they found massive amounts of water. Not just a little, but tons of water. This water wasn't from the surface. It was billions of years old, trapped deep inside the earth. It was incredibly salty, almost like an ancient underground ocean of pressurized brine locked in the rock. This discovery shattered all the old theories about the Earth's structure being dry inside. At around 7 kilometers down, the team found fossils, but not dinosaur fossils. They found microscopic fossils, tiny remains of plankton and single-celled life that were about 2 billion years old. These fossils were pressed into rock that had been cooked by massive heat and pressure. This proved that life is much tougher and more resilient than we ever thought. If life can survive or be preserved under these insane conditions deep in the crust, then finding simple life on places like Mars or Venus becomes much more likely. Remember the moho, the sharp dividing wall between granite and basalt rock? The one they were supposed to find at 15 kilometers? They drilled right past the level where they expected to find it, and they never found it. The granite just kept going. The Earth's structure was not a simple sandwich of layers. The rock was changed by heat and pressure, but the sharp division did not exist. The simple textbook picture of Earth's crust was completely wrong. These real-life scientific discoveries are already strange, but the Kola borehole is famous for something much stranger: the legend of the well to hell. The story goes that when the drill hit 12 kilometers, it did not hit rock. It broke through into an empty space. According to the legend, the scientists lowered a microphone down the hole, and instead of hearing the sound of shifting rocks, they recorded the terrifying sounds of human screaming and tortured souls. The story claimed the scientists sealed the hole immediately, fearing they had drilled into the actual location of hell. This entire story is a complete hoax. It started in the early 1990s as a joke in a Finnish newspaper. The only recordings ever made were the sounds of shifting tectonic plates, the normal groaning of the Earth's crust, amplified by special tools. The real reason they stopped? It was simply too hot and too expensive after the Soviet Union broke apart. Today, the Kola Superdeep Borehole is silent. The drill rig is gone, and the deepest point ever reached by humans is sealed by a small, thick, rusty metal cap bolted to the ground. This little rusty cap is the only thing marking the spot where humanity looked deepest into its own home. It is still the deepest hole in the world. The hole is barely a scratch. It only went 0.2% of the way to the Earth's center. But that tiny scratch gave us massive lessons. It taught us that the Earth is a much stranger, hotter, and wetter place than we imagined. It proved that life can be found in the most extreme places. What did you find most bizarre about this project? The screaming legend or the real discovery of 2 billion-year-old life? Tell us in the comments below. If you want to keep exploring the strangest parts of science, hit that like button and subscribe to Versa Vista.